What's going on, everybody? This is Kev the Barber with another classic, and you're sitting at the barber's table. Today we're going to be going over 9 hairline mistakes that you cannot do. Just avoid that joint. Do not even step close to these things. I don't know about you, but hairline is probably like one of my favorite parts of the haircut. I really like a fade. I like a nice blend. Then I like refining that blend with the hairline. And sometimes we can get a little bored with a lot of things we do as barbers. So first thing on the list is pressing too hard. You cannot press. Do not press hard on the hairline. When you press hard on the hairline, you cause abrasions, you cause cuts, you cause issues, irritation. If you got light skin, you'll see the red marks. Red marks is a universal sign that, hey bro, you went a little too hard on my man's right there. You know what I'm saying? You just did too much. So avoid pushing too hard. If you really want to get a sharp lineup, make sure you learn how to use a straight razor blade. Creating that soft barber's touch is essential to satisfying not only the look for your client and the feel for your client. The main thing you need to do in order to accomplish that is touch the client with your finger before you touch it with the clipper. It allows us to gauge the amount of pressure we're putting on the skin so we do not cause any irritation or any problems. Next on the list is negative gapping. If this is the top blade and this is the bottom blade, zero gapping is just having the cutting blade right below it, right? Many people think it's right at the same. I don't agree with that. True zero gapping causes issues because then you're gonna have the cutting blade touching the skin, and use a clipper to cut hair. Don't use a clipper to cut skin. It's gonna touch the skin just a tad. You don't want the cutting blade to be pressing on the skin and rubbing against it. Rubbing at a really fast rate is gonna that's what causes the cuts. That's what causes the abrasions. That's what causes the problems. We zero gap it too close, and on top of zero gapping it close, we aren't mindful of the angle that we put the clipper on the skin with. And when you do that, cause more problems for yourself. So some people aren't even really zero gapping. They're negative gapping because they're taking the cutting blade and they're pushing it past the comb blade, which causes issues for everybody and their mom. I actually did a video on this a while back when I was in college. It's called How to Adjust Your Wall Detailer. I'd show you exactly the move I use when I'm zero gapping any clipper. It's specifically on the wall detailer, but you can use the same techniques on any clipper that you're using. Third thing on the list is incorrect angling. I mentioned it in the last one, mentioned it here. I can't give you the perfect angle for every time you put the clipper on the person's head, but I will say you want the cutting blade not to be pressed up against the skin, and you want the comb blade to be touching the skin. And the way that you make sure that that is happening is you lead with your index finger, angle the clipper, and then you place it on the head so that it can touch the head instead of just resting the clipper on the head and just thinking it's gonna cut. You have to be aware of what your hands are doing, aware of what's happening with the clipper on the client's head so that you aren't causing any problems. It doesn't matter what clipper you have in your hand. If you don't know how to use it properly, you're gonna have these issues, whether your clipper is $30 or if it's $200. The next thing on the list is creating lines without references. When you make that first line on the front, you make that line on the side, the line on the back, every single line you create is referenced to something else. The head is doubles. You split it in half and there are doubles throughout the entire head. Use your eyebrows to reference for the front, use your ears and the side of your eyebrows to reference for the side. Use different parts of your head to reference the lines on your head. On the course I made, the Barber System, I go through the exact reference points and stuff you need to do in order to create that look. You can check out that course in the description box below. Along with your purchase of the Barber System, there's an exclusive group where I have lives and discussions. The first launch of that live is going to be done next week, so if you guys are interested, be sure to sign up. Number 5 on the list is not brushing. I know it can look really clean when you first put the clipper on the head, the hair is gone, and you think, oh wow, I created that line, but you didn't. That's just a rough draft. You need to brush it down and refine. Brush down and refine, and the more you brush, the more you refine, because what happens is, I know when you cut hair and you cut it short, you look like you've controlled it. It's there, it's in the place that you want it to be, but hair moves. So if you don't account for the movement of hair, once that client leaves and it starts doing what it does, starts moving, they're gonna be like, the cut wasn't as good as I thought it was, because once it started moving, the hairline was gone. The style that I was given just got messed up because in the chair, you didn't move the hair in anticipation for what it actually does, moves. Number 6 on the list is an uneven hairline. You know, you got the jokes, you see people on Instagram looking in the mirror like, oh oh my God, what happened? What happened to my hairline? It's all messed up, it's not straight. The reason the person does not have a straight hairline is because you didn't use your reference points and you did not change perspectives. Perspective is an interesting thing when it comes to barbering. You have to constantly change it in order to make sure that the moves you made were the right moves to make. A lot of people get scared when they see their barber take a step back and look, oh my God, did he make a mistake? No, he's actually doing what he's supposed to be doing. You take a step back from the haircut in order to change the perspective to see if it looks good in that same perspective, because angles shift and perspective changes when you're close up to something from when you're far away from it. People do not have the right system and step-by-step process in order to make sure that their hairline is straight. I also have a video on this. It's called How to Shape Up Men's Front Hairline, Line Up, Edge Up. I also put a card up here. I think it's on this side or this side. In that video, I just show you guys on a really messed up hairline. It's really all over the place, how to make it straight. When you have a system, when you know exactly what you're going after, it doesn't matter what type of hairline it is, you do the same system every single time. It's to the point where I don't even really see messed up hairlines anymore. I just see the hairline I would put on it. So when I do a hairline and somebody goes, oh my goodness, it's crazy how you got from here to here. In my eyes, it's like the whole time I saw here. If I saw here the whole time, it's kind of like, oh wow, I guess you can't see what I see. And that's the barber's eye. That's what you need to develop. Along with an uneven hairline, the next problem people have is pushing back hairlines. The biggest reason people are trying to get this pushback, or people keep pushing back, is because the further you go back, the higher the contrast. So they're gonna go deeper into adult hairs to create a sharper line, right? The issue with that is the grow back is terrible. This is the difference between caring about your client and caring about a picture on Instagram that you posted, if somebody will repost you or something like that. You wanna make sure that you're solving that person's problem, right? In order to accomplish as high of a contrast of a hairline as possible without pushing it back, you continue to brush the hair down, start the lineup earlier than you would expect it to be, brush it down and see what happens. There's this thing I call sketching in a hairline, where you start the hairline where you know you're not gonna finish it in order to move towards the completion point so that you don't get ahead of yourself. The next mistake I see a lot is having round corners. Having round corners, I think, is really just not understanding the tool that you have in your hand. As I said in fade techniques I wish I knew years ago, I'll link that up with the cards as well. Understanding the structure of the blade that is on your trimmer will help you navigate throughout the corners and peaks of people's hairlines. Because just because every part of the blade that you put on the skin doesn't actually cut hair. The furthest parts do not cut, so you need to make sure if you look at the blade and look at just the black area, the hairs need to reach those corners. Hairs need to fall inside that black line in order to cut. Last but not least, excessive cutting. I know I talked about brushing. I know I talked about sketching, changing perspectives, and all these different aspects of the hairline, right? While it's a lot to think about, but while you're doing all that, you have to make sure you aren't pressing and rubbing over the same areas too many times, because you're gonna cause irritation. Don't be alarmed, because the good thing about the list that I just provided you with about everything from 1 to 8, when you have your clippers set and nails width apart, when you rest your finger on before you put the clipper on, when you brush and look at the haircut right after you take a swipe at it, when you follow these steps, causing abrasions or cuts or anything like that is a lot less likely. So I hope that list helps you guys out. I hope these lists and all these videos that I'm dropping are helping to simplify it for you. If something in this list particularly really helped you out, please leave a comment in the section below. And also make sure you check out my website down below. I have my course set up, the barber system. It's basically a GPS for your haircuts. But anyway, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching today's video. See you guys in the next one.